Bev's Video Kingdom is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is advised.
I can brag your favorite podcast. Let's start this thing.
Woo! Welcome back to Bev's Video Kingdom. It is draft day. It is Christmas time. And that can only mean one thing.
What's that?
I feel it in my toes.
That's right. We did Love Actually last week, the quintessential movie of romantic gestures. And thus, this week we are drafting the most memorable romantic gestures in movies.
I'm 100% excited to see like how many of the dumb gestures we talked about that get drafted here. Because
this one could be. We often talk about buying the T-shirt for buying the T-shirt to go to see the band. I mean, we could be 3 or 4 T-shirts. We could be into the special edition T-shirts.
I mean, American Pie holds the record. They had 2 from theirs, and they almost had 3.
I think Love Actually could go 3 or 4.
All right.
That's just my.
So can I preface my draft with telling you guys that I have no Love Actually on my list?
That's great. I mean, that's from my perspective, that's perfect.
Man, and now that
I would love it if Nate had 4 Love Actually draft picks. Please God,
you know what?
4 shirts on top of each other.
I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna get the long sleeve. I'm gonna put on.
It's
the
cold
short
out here.
sleeve.
Damn it! I need layers.
Hoodie. I got a windbreaker. I'm gonna have it all. So,
all the Love Actually swag.
The Love Actually. I got a hat. Okay, so but we also have an awesome guest. So. Our draft judge who I contacted him and I was like, here's some movies we got coming up. And he's like, I would kill to be on anything associated with Love Actually. So he's a huge Love Actually fan. And so I said, okay, why don't we come on the draft pod. We'll talk a little bit about Love Actually, even though that we sort of ran that one over in the previous episode. We'll talk a little bit about that. And we're going to talk a little bit about what he's up to. And that's Cliff Chamberlain. Cliffy is a legit actor. He's been in a bunch of TV shows. He's been a series regular on Homeland. I'll give you the full rundown when I introduce him, but he's an ensemble member at Steppenwolf Theater in Chicago, which is a major deal. So he's an actor, but he also was a friend of mine in high school. He was a roommate of mine in college. We've been friends for a long time. So we're going to kind of pick his brain a little bit about acting, about Katherine Heigl, maybe.
I'm so stoked, like a real Hollywood person.
He's a serious dude, yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
So Cliffy, and he's a great guy, and so he's going to be on with us to judge, to talk a little acting, to talk a little bit of Love Actually. So that's later in the pod. So we're going to draft. We've got romantic gestures. Does anyone have any clarifying questions or issues?
Does it have to be romantic?
Yeah, so I say yes. So like there were a bunch of like loving gestures that I left off my list because they were platonic type gestures, like sacrifices for someone you loved, but it wasn't of the romantic sort.
It's got to be romantic. And then does it have to be done by one of the 2 people that is like involved in the relationship?
Yes.
Ooh, I don't know where you're going with that.
No,
we'll
say
go with
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You say yes, it does.
It has to be one of the 2 involved.
I agree.
Since we're going to disqualify it, can you give us an example?
Okay, so I mean, our movie Love Actually, when Peter like gets them to do at the end of their wedding, like with all the trumpets and the all you need is love.
Are you going to pick that?
No, I'm not going to pick that.
Well, but I would argue that is a romantic gesture
towards her. Okay.
Yeah.
I would argue that I want you to pick that because that's a shit pick. I fucking hate that guy.
The friend?
As we already talked about.
Yeah.
You hate the friend.
I mean, go listen to our pod.
Oh, we got into it.
Vitriol, anger.
Oh, man.
I'm still not sure if I'm getting divorced or not. I mean, we're going to find out.
All right. Well, yeah, if you missed that one, Brad's wife, Melissa, was on as the Drinking with Melissa section, and she and I share a real love of Love Actually. So if you want to go back and run that one through and you missed it, you should. All right. Brad, do you have a draft one for us?
Yeah, you know what? I decided I hadn't done it in a while. I decided to write a letter to Santa Claus.
Oh.
Wrote that letter, and I said, Santa, all I want for Christmas is a draft order.
He was like, fuck, I got to go have a gunfight with Walton Goggins. And I'll be back to check out your letter that you wrote me.
Yeah, he avoided Walton Goggins, and then he went ahead and wrote me a letter. And in return, it said, picking first, Zach.
Ooh.
I love
Picking second, which I feel like I've been second like constantly, is myself.
Is Nick. Oh, sorry.
Picking third, Nick.
Damn it. Then.
And on the Reach-a-Rito,
I get another reach.
Reach is Nate.
I love it.
And as we start this draft, let's just know that right now the standings 5-5-4-4. It is close as can be.
So that's me.
Who's at 5?
That's Nick and Nate.
Some people have 5.
Nick and Nate
some people
are
have
at
4
5.
wins.
All right.
I know we can talk names and stuff. I'm just saying, like, some of us have 5 wins, some of us have 4 wins. So it's very close.
No one can tell the difference between us anyway. So
Right. It doesn't matter.
it. Super fucking close, you guys. I'm so glad to be in the conversation.
I mean, Zach has
Zach
had
came back
a
from the
massive
dead.
comeback.
Zach's worked his ass off. I'm proud of him.
How's the sex been?
Yeah.
It's
Has your wife
spectacular.
rewarded you for those 4 wins?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's had to take a couple days off work.
Beautiful. That's what we're here for. That's what this pod is here for.
The spirit of the
Chris.
holidays.
Getting people laid. Whether it's you listeners or ourselves, that's all we want.
All right. Let's do it. Who's
Oh, my gosh. Here we
Zach.
go.
Zach is
Okay.
our leadoff, and he seems
Is there a
So I'm
comfortable
going with
that.
one that I didn't think was going to get to me because I never have first pick. So I'm going to go with, I think many would argue is the most romantic gesture. I don't know why. It's kind of dumb, but
Is that a question?
I'm going to go with John Cusack with Peter Gabriel's In Your Eyes going with the boombox.
Say anything.
I say
I feel like that's the number one overall. I think
that when you guys said romantic gesture in film, that is what the first thing that came to mind, and that's what I'm going to go with.
it's the song that ends my wife and I. We have our wedding video, and it's the last song that ends it.
Well, dude, Peter Gabriel.
Do you have
that's baby making music.
Do you
bro.
have just a picture of you holding a boombox? It's a still for the last.
No, it fades out with that song. It's beautiful. It's,
The
it's
dope,
kinda
the
nice.
dope thing about Peter Gabriel CDs is that you can put them on and it's like some baby making music, and then if things go a little long, and then all of a sudden you're like making love to like a full African choir with like all sorts of like crazy instruments and shit going on. It can get really wild,
Is Sledgehammer your baby making music?
bro. I'm telling you right now.
All right.
Oh, that's a good pick, though. I gotta like that pick.
Yeah, I mean, it to me, it feels like it is the sort of if truly we stick to the category and it's the
Right.
most memorable. I mean, is there any scene that's more like
It's the
burned
first one.
into everyone's?
Yes, it comes to your mind, right?
The problem with it, though, as Zach points out, is it's kind of weird and creepy.
Yeah, I don't love it, but I'm just saying that if you're thinking of romantic gestures in film, that's the one that
The one
everybody
pops
thinks
up.
of.
I do have to tell a quick story about my wedding video, and this is going to be short and sweet, but it's in our wedding video. We're still not sure if our videographer is a homophobe or not.
Did you just film your wife, like in Love Actually?
I don't think that would be homophobic. Well, I'm okay.
He's like, I can't get that guy in there. That'd make me gay if I had him in the fucking frame.
No, what happens is there's a kind of little montage, and it's set to "That's Amore," and in that part, in one part of the song, it says something like a gay tarantella. I think is what it says.
Oh, Tarantino is what they're trying to say. Like
No.
a gay Tarantino.
No.
He really likes guys' feet.
I think it's tarantella.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know. But when it says the word gay, we had like a wedding planner guy that was I don't know if he's
cut it
gay. I have
out?
no clue. And he's kind of making this flourish talking about the space like at our rehearsal. And right as he does this whole kind of like with his arms, it says like a gay tarantella. And it's like, did he intentionally edit this to have the part where our wedding planner was doing like this little movement?
Oh, where the
where
gay
he looks
guy was on
kind
film?
of gay.
Interesting.
And then it says gay, and we've thought about this for years. But every time we watch the video, we're just like, did he do that
I'm
intentionally?
going to go with,
I feel like at this point, it's worth asking him.
yeah, I'm going to go with,
No, we had no like relationship with the dude afterwards.
Would you like
I don't
to
know.
say
because you were like, we don't talk to homophobes.
Just maybe openly accuse him of it. And see
He
what
also spelled my wife's name wrong in the video. So
I think you should call him out on a public forum.
Yeah,
And,
some sort of vehicle that will disseminate it publicly.
17
and
years
see what
later,
it
we
says.
should try to get him canceled. Is that what you're saying?
Like our podcast.
All right, Nick, was that enough time?
No, it's not.
Oh, it's Brad's
it's
pick?
me. I stalled on
Yes, that was
myself.
fine. I still got a pick to go through. I think it'll be enough time.
Oh my Lord!
There's a lot of processing going on right now.
On myself here, and I really have no clue what direction to go.
There's some good ones on the board.
Oh boy!
I'm glad that no one argued with that as the one of one because
It made me sad because I was.
But it's a weird one. I mean, I totally am
Yeah.
with you on the way you feel about it. It's like you have to pick it, but you hate yourself for doing it.
as with most decisions I make in my life.
Zach's over there just pounding pizza. And
I apologize for
dropping
my
one-liners.
pizza eating.
I love it.
This is going to be weird because I'm going to go with something that is a small gesture, and it's very close because it's something that we did recently on the pod.
Ooh.
I'm going to go with Peter takes down the photo in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh man, that's a
Dude.
good one. I think it's early, but it's a really
It's a little
good one.
early, but I mean, he knows he's going to take an ass whooping to do it. And I mean, that's as romantic as it gets when you're like, I'm going to get my ass beat to do it, but I'm going to go ahead and do the thing that I think would be most meaningful to this person.
Brad, I'm going to
the
pay you.
honor.
I'm going to pay you the
Movie.
ultimate compliment right now. I think that was an absolutely amazing pick
That's a Zach pick.
that you could have gotten in the
That
fourth.
Zach will Zach will never take that again because he's continuing
Coming
to
from
win.
you, Zach.
Zach has won the
And that
last
is
two
very
drafts
meaningful.
for not making that pick.
That
in
is
his draft.
a perfect example of American Psycho in the first round.
Had Zach wanted to lose this draft,
Hey, but I mean, dude, Brad's absolutely right. Like, he's risking life and limb from native islanders.
Life and limb, that's a little dramatic, but you're probably right.
The guy
Zach.
said he would have cut his nuts off. I'm telling you, Brad knows Hawaiians. Brad, tell us about your 0% Hawaiian heritage.
My family does live in Hawaii. Yeah, the Howleys,
Your family has invaded Hawaii.
the Portuguese are kind of dickheads. Yeah, all our Portuguese listeners, I apologize, but yeah, but no, yeah, I mean, anytime you're going to take a beating for a girl, it's pretty.
I think
romantic.
that's an amazing pick, and it didn't make my list, and it makes me sad. It makes me sad it didn't make my list.
for once, Nick over there is just chomping at the bit.
Yeah. All right, Nick. What was the actual number 2?
He's like,
The
Mila.
number 1, 2 of 2. Nobody puts Baby in a Corner.
Oh man,
Swayze, Dirty Dancing, the climactic scene, the climax. What? Zach's nodding at me like, what movie?
when he
Zach?
picks her up and spins her
No.
around.
No, the end
he interrupts the show. And,
interrupts the yeah.
all right, well, I'm going to take the correct one of one.
Wait, hold on. I need more description here because I'm not very
Just don't
familiar
put,
with Dirty
just
Dancing.
put nobody puts
Nobody puts
baby in a corner.
Oh, he says that in that scene.
Yeah,
Okay.
Hot.
not in the.
What
not
does he
in the-
interrupt? He interrupts what kind of show?
It's a
It's like a school recital. She's in 8th grade.
It was her 8th grade graduation.
Yep.
was it a wedding?
He was like, I'm going to make a speech.
No,
it
I
was
think
a dance.
It's a dance. It's a dance
thing.
performance, I think.
Yeah, because they had been working on their Dirty Dancing, so it was Dirty Dancing show.
Yeah, because there's nothing that a girl likes more than when she's about to showcase something and you take the spotlight.
That's my favorite part of this draft.
Swayze didn't
is
know
that's
he
going to
was
be
doing
like
that.
why it's problematic. We can point it out constantly. That's going to be a fun part of this draft.
All right. So my one of one is Richard Gere getting over his fear of heights.
Ooh,
To climb up the ladder of the fire escape
that was number 2 on my list.
and show his love
Yeah, that was.
for Julia. Pretty Woman. That's the correct one of one. I teased Zach by saying his was the one, but this is the one.
Can we talk about how hot Julia I forgot her fucking Julia Roberts is in this movie?
That one actress.
We got a movie pod,
Julia,
guys. You know,
Julia.
it's
Louis
very
Dreyfus.
famous.
Dude, I think that's a good one.
Okay, and for 2, and maybe this might sink me because I went too hard on this movie in a previous draft, but I'm
Better
gonna
go back to the well.
I'm gonna go with Noah builds her dream house in The Notebook as my second pick. Perhaps a controversial question as to whether that's the correct scene.
I'm going to say that's the wrong scene, but good try, bud. It was a good effort.
Okay,
Maybe next time you'll pick the right.
I have been known to miss.
I
that scene.
specifically put Noah builds her dream house, The Notebook. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, that's what I wrote down.
Gosling. Noah Gosling.
She got guzzled.
She got gozzled.
Bitches be getting gozzled all over the place.
After arguably wanting a divorce, pouncing into a room of divorcees, saying, "You complete me." Zellweger tells Mr. Jerry Maguire to just shut up. You had me at hello.
You had me at hello.
I like Renee Zellweger.
We live in
too.
a cynical world.
A cynical world.
Oh,
I do not like Tom Cruise, but I like Renee Zellweger. I think she has bad taste in that movie.
That's a good pick.
It's a great movie.
It might be a reach, but it's good.
No, I think that's a good pick.
That's a good pick. There's a lot
I
of
just
stuff
don't
out
like. I just don't like Tom Cruise.
A lot of people like that movie.
All right. I've got one in my pocket that I'm just, oh man, if one of you will pick it, I'm going to be pissed. But let's see.
Is it a romantic gesture?
Is that in your pocket, or are you just excited to be sitting by it?
Oh, I can go Pixar here. I can go all sorts of directions.
But
I can go Pixar.
Disney
I can go
animation.
Muppets. I don't know
gonna
which
go
way
up.
to go.
But as I was going to say, is it a romantic gesture to just give the girl the D?
Well, it depends on the delivery, I guess.
All right.
That's 100% true, Nate.
My next pick here. So far, my picks have involved my first pick involved a man putting himself in danger for a girl. I'm going to go with that as well. I'm going to go with Leo scaling the walls in Romeo and Juliet, going into Capulet territory to put himself in danger and profess his love.
I love that pick, but I think you could have got that in the fourth round.
I feel like that's a pander because our judge may know Claire Danes well, but just
Ooh,
Actually, honestly, I know you said that earlier, and I did not even think about it until just now. That's just the chef's kiss right there on that pick, is what that is.
Police story. Okay.
can I pick the time that Jordan Catalano made out with Claire Danes and then didn't call her again? It was like the most romantic thing that he did on My So-Called Life.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm just talking about good stuff.
Take your mother, Dorothy Mantooth,
For a nice steak dinner.
and never call her again.
Ooh, that's a pretty romantic gesture.
Oh, yeah.
So you should pick that, Nick.
When Vince Vaughn kisses Ron Burgundy on the forehead.
Are we back to number one?
We're back to number one.
It's my
You
pick.
want to rip you
Yeah,
out?
finally.
Guys, I got some picks here. And I get the rap, right?
You get the rap.
You do.
See, I hate to tell you guys, but I want to revisit The Notebook, but I'm not going to.
You should.
I'm not going to.
We need three.
I think
picks
there's
from
a clear winner from The Notebook, and there's still two things that you could pick.
You should pick them both right now. Then
Yeah, pick them both. Let's do that.
Man, okay, this is tough, guys. All right, so with my pick, I'm gonna go. And this pains me because there's other stuff I want to take. I'm gonna go Steve Carell selling all of his toys and memorabilia in order to start his life with his new lady friend out of 40-year-old version.
That's a fun pick.
I love the idea of him, the metaphor of him letting go of his single virginness and getting rid of all his nerd toys and putting it into his relationship with, what's her fucking name? I can't remember.
Catherine Keener.
Yep, exactly.
I love that pick, both because it's really not a romantic gesture and also
And it's going to get win number 6,
really,
possibly.
Really
You don't think that's a romantic gesture? I think that's the ultimate romantic gesture from a nerdy dude that has a bunch of fucking figurines. He's like, I will sell all of my figurines to prove to you that I love you. I think that's the ultimate romantic gesture.
I love it. Let's let you do that.
I mean, he could just fucking.
He's still alive,
He
though.
could just have
He's
some
still
like
There's
fucking.
a lot of movies.
He could
where-
have some poster board where he wrote some shit in Sharpie on it, but I guess
A lot of movies where Steve Carell's character dies in a lot of movies as a romantic gesture. I'm just saying.
I don't
It'd be a
like
lot
that.
worse.
Like when he blows
You
himself
don't
up.
like the dark side of characters dying for.
I
their
think that
love.
I love that pick, and that's a pick for me. But I'm gonna go with my next pick, and I think this is the ultimate romantic gesture. And it pains me because it's from The Notebook, but the ultimate romantic gesture is when his lady gets dementia and he goes back and is reading her the story of their love life, and she doesn't remember who he is.
That's a good.
I mean, if we're talking romantic
That's
gestures,
a
does
good
it get
pick. That's
bigger
a-
than that? I
that's a
mean,
great
that's
pick.
fucking
Take your
unbelievable.
toy pick off and let's jump right to that.
I'm just saying, I think from The Notebook, a lot of people think the rain scene is cool, but I'm like, fuck, I've stood in the rain before. That ain't cool.
I
You're
wrote.
just an old man and you want to go and fucking read the story of your love to some chick that doesn't even remember who you are. That's so baller.
It's a
I
solid
put on here reading the story of her love life when she has dementia.
Yep.
Does that work?
I like that.
It's a winning.
All
It's a
right.
winning pick.
Every day, supposedly. They all know him and shit. They're like, oh, it's the Gozzles.
It's like the more serious version of 50 First Dates.
Yeah, 50 First Dates there's some problematic shit in that movie too.
Rudy.
Oh man, I've still got my one in my pocket. I don't know if I bring it out yet.
It's bulging. You might want to get it out.
Got a Muppet in your pocket. Bring out Kermit boy. Or no, I guess it would be the Miss Piggy that does the romantic gestures for Kermit.
That's right.
All right, you know what? This is coming out of left field. Out of left field. You guys are going to just
I love
probably
it.
shit on
Please.
it. That's fine. I have no problem with that.
Throw the draft bad.
But I'm going to go ahead and take a posthumous
A dead guy?
romantic gesture.
Well, it's a good pick. It's not out of left field.
I'm going to take Carl taking his house to Paradise Falls in the movie Up. Because it's got one of the most romantic scenes ever in the history of movies. The opening montage that basically brings you to tears unless you have no heart. And then Carl spends the rest of the movie trying to get his wife's house to Paradise Falls where they were supposed to go together.
That's a solid
Romantic
pick.
as fuck.
It's an unreal pick, but it's not as romantic as reading to her every day and she doesn't know who you are. I like that pick a lot, though. That old chick was hot.
Some of those early old photos. Yeah.
Oh, dude, banging. With the freaking horn rim glasses.
That Pixar. All right, Nikki, what do you got?
All right. I got, this is a life and death scenario.
Oh, I like that.
It involves Leo.
Ooh.
He gives Rose the floating door
Yeah.
at the end.
Oh,
He knows that he's a goner. He knows that she has a chance. He puts her on the door, tries to soothe her, make her think everything's going to be okay. Zach's crying as I'm speaking right now.
Man, we brought that shit up, I think, recently where there was plenty of other shit out in the ocean. There was a lot of other
A
objects
lot of floating
out there.
objects.
They could have found one. They could have made it happen.
Yeah.
He was so focused on Rose.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't spend the rest of my life with this girl.
He was like, those are the best,
Go find Billy Zane floating in the water.
greatest boobs I ever drew.
Oh, man. They're
I'm just going to say I disagree with that pick because I feel like, God, they both could have survived.
I thought you were going to say because he drew better boobs.
So there are so many good ones left here. This is going to be painful.
You got two
It's
picks.
gonna be hard.
Your
I
I
final
know,
two
and
picks.
even with two, it's too. There's too many good ones.
Yeah.
All right, next one's easy. Just to infuriate Zach, I'm taking the note cards from Love Actually.
Oh, okay. That's the worst fucking pick I've ever heard.
That is terrible.
I love
Super
it.
romantic. I love fucking hitting on my best friend's girl. Makes me happy.
I love that. I love that scene.
Hey, just because you're married to my best friend, I want you to know I want to put my dick inside you. All right? Can't wait till you get those teeth fixed and star in fucking a pirate movie.
Wait.
You
Nate,
can't read?
Nate, it's
Oh,
not. It's
damn
not
it.
romantic gestures. We're doing the stalker draft.
Yeah.
right?
That's
Oh.
alternate ending is
Sorry,
Keira
I thought-
Knightley can't
I
read.
thought-
Knightley can't read. She's like, do you have the audio version?
All she sees is the picture of her looking. Like,
She's like, just say it. He's like, I'm trying to be quiet because my best friend is in there that you're married to. That's the worst fucking pick I've ever heard.
The carolers on this boombox sound a lot like human carolers.
Okay, and then for my last pick,
We moved on too quickly from that. That was fucking gross.
dude.
Yeah. I mean, why is it romantic?
We talked about it.
I
in the
like
pod.
I like
Yeah, that's true. We've dissected it.
I
We
like
beat this
unrequited
horse.
love. I like the unrequited love.
Hey.
He tells her and then he lets it go.
If that dude was 14, that shit's okay. That dude's fucking 40 years old and he's got a fucking boner for his best friend's wife. I'm sorry, dude.
Romance finds its way into strange
All
places.
right, next pick.
All right, so the final pick, I'm debating between three musical gestures.
Okay, I know one of them.
I
at
think I
least.
know one.
I don't think you do because I think there's a fourth one that I wouldn't pick.
Well, you said three, and I said there's one that. Okay,
Saying,
well,
I think the one you think is not it. Okay, I think I got to go with an old favorite. I'm going to go with The Wedding Singer.
that's the one I was thinking.
I think
of.
that's the pick.
He goes, he writes, I want to grow old with you. He enlists Billy Idol.
It's a sick ass song.
It's a great song. It's a great scene. It's funny. It's romantic. It's all the way good.
To grow old with you. It's like super tender and like the way that he plays it doesn't.
good.
It's not over the top. I love it.
Yep.
Yep. So that's how I'm going to finish.
That was going to be my last.
I put
pick.
Robbie serenades Julia on the plane. Does that work?
I like it.
All right. Why did? That's the pick I was thinking of.
So, but I'm saying I thought you were there was There's one.
Okay,
that
well,
comes
we
up a
got
little more often than
After Rands or also Rands.
I like that pick though.
Nick. For 6, man. That's all it is. This is
You
for
picking a
6.
Star Wars pick? Was that Darth Vader noise?
For 6. When Luke took off his dad's helmet.
3 words, most romantic words in movie history. As you wish.
Oh,
Princess Bride.
but what does he do?
Okay,
He just
so
kind of
that's
throws himself down a hill.
I had this on my list, but I had very much trouble saying what's the actual gesture.
The gesture is the start of the movie because it doesn't change. He's in love with her from the start of the movie, and it doesn't change. So you can just say the start of the movie, but just say as you wish. Because
See, this is one of those ones that I'm like in my head. I'm like, oh, pick that, Nick. That's a fucking losing pick. And then also, like the judge could overanalyze it and be like, oh my god, Wesley loved her so much. You know what
romantic gesture.
What's the gesture? That's my question to you, Nick.
Can
What is
you-
the gesture?
I mean? The only gesture I can think of, I don't want to give him a fucking.
No,
Okay,
that's
so
why I
you
said,
like
hey,
pick-
Nick,
so I
what's
gotta-
the gesture?
So I have to pick a scene.
I wanted to pick that too because it's one of the greatest love stories of all time.
So I have to pick a scene.
You have to pick a gesture.
Killing RUSs doesn't count, or I guess it could.
Yeah.
It would be.
I want to help you out, but I'm not going to.
I know the winner.
It's rolling down the hill, saying "as you wish."
Okay,
Okay.
put that on there.
That's the correct choice.
I don't believe it is.
You don't think so?
That's when she
Well,
realizes who it is.
It's already on the card, so
Gets killed and comes back to life.
oh, that's not bad either.
Reincarnation
He
for your
doesn't say
love.
"as you wish," though.
Well, yeah, you made the wrong choice. It's all good.
Oh
I
man,
love that movie.
It's okay. The
I mean,
judge is
I
going
was
to group
thinking-
"as you wish" into everything.
His
the movie.
story of what he said to the Dread
All the
Pirate,
stuff that
Pirate
he does,
Roberts
yeah.
seems like that could be also the romantic gesture. He fought for his life against the
He's
most
on the
vicious pirate
boat with
in
the
world.
Dread Pirate Roberts, and then freaking ends up taking over for him, and then climbs that
I don't
hill.
know, but that's a good pick. I like the West. I put Wesley rolls down the hill saying "As you wish," Princess Bride. That's
like
a
it.
solid pick.
I am not left-handed. When you said it, that's the first thing I thought of is when he jumps down the hill and says "as you wish." I love that scene, but
All
at the
right.
same time, and she goes, "Oh my dear sweet Wesley," and she jumps over and freaking goes
and
down.
she tumbles.
Yeah,
Man,
Oh, what is
that's
out there? What
That's a
is-
sneaky pick, Nick, because that's a really great love story, and I
I
think
need
that
2 more picks
He's
because
going to overanalyze it and give you more points. Sorry, Brad. Go
as
ahead.
he should. Yeah.
I have my one I've said is in my pocket is still there, and I don't know if I want to do it now because there's also one that is just great that would make for a great pod. But I'm going to go ahead and put that one in the pocket, and it'll be in the also rans. Maybe it would have won the draft for me, but we'll see later.
I doubt
All right, so my pick officially is going to be from one of my favorite all-time movies. It's in my top 10. That is Amelie, and it's the scavenger hunt that she puts her love interest in.
What movie is it again?
Chocolate.
Amelie,
I've
What is
literally never seen that.
because you
Amelie?
guys are dumb.
I'm positive.
Uneducated. Is that
Is
what
it
you were gonna say?
Amelie? Is that how you fucking say it?
Amelie, it's French, bro.
I just watched an awesome French movie last night called Inside. If you guys want to be fucking terrified out of your minds, you guys got to watch that. But I've
No, thank you.
Amelie? I thought it was what? Amelie?
Amelie.
Okay.
I've
Oh, that
never
way
heard
you said it. I
mention
like
So
that.
did you type?
I'm with Cliff.
What's the romantic?
He,
So what
he knows
happens?
movies. He's going to be like,
Oh, he'll have seen it.
What happens in that movie?
yeah.
The girl
she
with
put-
the
she
prominent
puts-
lipstick. What happens?
no,
to
she
her?
does a bunch of things for all sorts of people in her town, but the main her love interest she puts through this whole scavenger. It involves a photo booth, involves costumes and all sorts of little secret messages to get this guy. And it's like it's the last scene basically. It kind of takes place over the last 30 minutes of the movie.
I'll allow it.
All right, Zach, where are you finishing? There's a lot on the board here.
Brad's going film school. That's pandering.
So
Damn it.
it's my pick.
Well, that's a double.
Brad's
hander,
gonna
'cause
win.
I'm just gonna throw some also rans out there
Don't yet.
before I make the last pick.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
No. We save also rans for later.
There's 2 last picks.
Okay,
There's
well-
one from a teen movie, and there's one from a movie with my lady love, Jennifer Lawrence. And I'm going to go Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence at the end of Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh,
You don't think so?
the
Oh,
note?
you think the dancing was the biggest, was a big enough
please.
romantic gesture? I don't think so. I think at the very end when he slowly chases her down outside of the outside of the place and gives her the letter, and she doesn't want to read it because she thinks it's to the other girl. And she reads it, and he says, I wrote that a week ago, and he says, I love you, and she says, okay, and they make out, and it's fucking
So you love that you love that movie too?
I love that.
I love that movie.
Love
God, well, we got it. That one's going to come on the pod, but
Yeah.
I love that one. Okay.
Oh, that's good.
Is Cliffy? I mean, I'm sure he's seen all these movies, but
I
if he
think
has
so.
not. Is he informed of the YouTube proxy?
I think he's a listener, so I think
Okay.
he knows the Scotch Beck strategy, which he may not adopt fully, but I'm sure he will look stuff up.
What was the Silver Linings Playbook part that you thought that you
I
was
wasn't.
gonna
I was
pick? The
thinking.
dancing?
I was thinking about a different movie.
Oh,
I
okay,
heard
okay,
Bradley
okay,
Cooper,
okay.
and I started thinking Shallow in Star Is Born.
Ooh, when he kills himself? How on brand would that have been?
It's like a
When Bradley Cooper knows that he's no good for her and he kills himself instead of staying with her.
When he finishes. When he finishes the song, Zach's ruining all my best movies by pointing out all the terribleness.
When he pisses himself on the stage.
When he finishes the song and then surprises her by like having an arrangement ready to go and getting her to sing it on stage with him. Amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to say just real quick off the get though. Good job staying away from Love Actually, because I was trying to like push it that I thought some of y'all would take some Love Actually, because I
don't
did
think
not want to take them at all.
I mean, the biggest romantic gesture in Love Actually is the little kid learning how to play the drums in like 2
For
weeks
sure.
and then playing in the show.
And then
That's a cute one.
and running through the airport's kind of cool. I also think
or the final credits.
yeah.
What about the final credits? I didn't watch that shit. I turned it off.
Just a romantic gesture in a
The movie's
movie.
already 2
It's
hours
like-
I mean, all the
87 seconds.
actual footage of real people like hugging.
Right. That's
Okay.
like a random. That's a Brad pick for this draft.
Yeah. So
That's a Brad pick.
Okay, no, here I gotta describe. My one I had pocketed the whole time was Amelie, and then when it came down to it, I almost went with Return of the King, Lord of the Rings, Samwise carrying Frodo up Mount Doom. It would have been a sleeper.
Because Samwise wants to bone Frodo.
Hey,
is that
hey. I don't know specifically his feelings, but there was a lot of love in him carrying
This
him
is a
up
whole genre of Hobbit gay porn that that's untapped. I think we need to tap it.
No,
Like
I don't think it's
Harry
untapped. I
Foot-
think it's very much tapped.
Harry Foot Hobbit gay porn.
It's very much tapped, but I think it would have been a nice pick. 'Cause-
Sam and Frodo are getting it on. All of a
That
sudden,
might be.
fucking Gollum just like runs in for like a spider monkey.
I heard you got a
like,
leak.
"It's a threesome!"
I heard you got a leak of the pipes. You got a fix. Gollum
You know, I mean, Samwise has a love for
precious!
Frodo. He has a love for Frodo that is very deep.
So I almost went since we're talking about gay gestures, because there's not a lot of like gay love
Yeah.
films, right? There are more now. So I went to Brokeback, and but I think the only scene is kind of a sad one, which is like, you know, posthumously he takes the shirt. And like he has the shirt in his closet, which is like not really a romantic gesture. But
It's not when he spits on his hand first.
Oh, that's
Brad.
Brad, come on,
Jesus.
That's not romantic. You didn't have to
Jesus.
spit.
Brad. All right, so if we're going back to Love Actually,
If we're going to revisit my favorite pod moment, can we make a bookmark right there, please?
Love Actually, he learns Portuguese, similar to learning the drums. So that's a
Actually,
and
that's
then
pretty
he shows
badass.
up and like speaks to her in Portuguese. The problem is that's one of my least favorite like threads. As we talked
Really?
about.
Yeah.
you just don't like Portuguese.
Did we watch
The
two
Portuguese.
different movies?
There's a lot of Portuguese hate with Brad hating on his family there too.
Chasing Amy, Alyssa buys the painting for Holden when they're in the diner, and it kind of sets up where he finally like believes that she loves him, and so he makes his move.
Notting Hill, she buys Julia Roberts for Hugh Grant buys the actual painting of the print that's hanging in his shop, and then says, "I'm just a girl." She has the "I'm just a girl" speech and delivers the painting to him.
Yeah, they ripped off Chasing Amy.
So I mean, the big one that I had trouble not taking was Heath Ledger in 10 Things I Hate About You when he sings "Can't Take My Eyes Off of You" with the school band on the
So
on
that's the
football
music
field.
one that I thought that Brad was thinking of. And I don't love that one.
I
but
love that.
I've never seen that movie. So.
It's a really good movie, and it's not bad. The other movie one, or the other music one that I wanted, there are actually two. Pitch Perfect. She at the end, the finale, she works in the end, the Breakfast Club,
Right.
Fist in the Air, which is a nice like
Just his fave or
her
whatever.
gesture for him.
Yeah.
And then there's also one that you guys haven't probably seen, but there's a movie called 10 Years where he writes this song called Never Had that's about this girl that he sees back at the reunion, and it's incredible.
I mean, speaking of
song.
music, we could have said Sing Street. The kid starting a band.
Oh, yeah,
just
that's
for his
true.
girl.
That's a good
one, Brad.
That's a good one.
The big one, a big one for me that I wanted to pick, but it just I thought it would maybe either go over great or go over wrong is Jon Favreau and Swingers leaving 57 voicemails for that chick that he meets at the bar.
That is a
Good.
I think
that was a romantic gesture, but
he's trying to be romantic.
That's one of the most uncomfortable scenes.
It's insanely uncomfortable.
Whitney Houston, the bodyguard, singing to Kevin Costner.
Oh.
One of the most.
What about Kevin Costner saving her life?
Taking a bullet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Whitney Houston at the end singing that to Costner.
Singing's way more important than taking a bullet.
Okay, from the Notebook, the third scene,
The rain scene?
the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
He hangs on the Ferris wheel, and you know,
A little psychotic.
sorry, kind of psychotic again. Very
Juno, Elliot Page puts the orange Tic Tacs in Michael Cera's mailbox.
yeah. Rushmore, he builds an aquarium,
Oh yeah.
which is this is so good.
A movie full of romantic gestures.
I mean, you could say all his plays are like basically like romantic gestures.
The Girl Next Door. So there's a couple. So it's just the going up and making out with her at the party, which is just
so good.
just a great move. And then you just got him going up for the scholarship award, where he goes up and just says, "Is the juice worth the squeeze?"
Well, and if we're going to that one, there's a third one, which is at the porn convention. He goes up and gives her the folded up.
yeah,
Which
the
is kind
drawing.
of like a romantic-y
Right.
thing when
It
he's
is.
kept the drawing,
It
but
is.
it's also a little bit like he's a little pissed, so
Yeah.
it's hard to say. But
Yeah.
that movie is,
Yeah.
I love that movie.
What about the guy in Road Trip, like traversing the world to go and see his old lady, who I believe is already cheating on him?
He was actually trying to go get the sex tape that he didn't want her to see, right?
Oh, that's what it was. That's still pretty romantic.
So romantic. Return of the King, also Lord of the Rings. Liv Tyler as Arwen. She gives up her long life for Aragorn, which is
What about speaking of Liv Tyler? What about Ben Affleck blowing up a meteor in order to save his old lady or the whole world?
one of a few.
pretty romantic.
Beauty and the Beast. He gives her a library. Never been kissed. She apologizes in the newspaper, and then waits on plate or waits on the pitcher's mound.
Is it romantic of the Beast to give her a library? He's like, nobody's ever been in here. It's yours.
Well, yeah, it's
So you're my hostage, but
you
you can
read?
hang out
Okay,
in my
fine, go
library.
read.
I can't read. I eat with my mouth. Here we go.
Rocky IV. Adrian shows up in Russia.
Oh,
So- Okay, and
I
even
think that was
just
more
Rocky
creepy.
1, just Adrian saying "I love you" after Rocky kind of goes, toe to toe with Apollo, and that's the first time I think she says it in the movie.
Yeah.
Casablanca. Rick arranges escape for Isla and her husband. Sets her free.
What about
Right.
Patrick Swayze giving Demi Moore the gift of the orgasm while she's making pottery?
As you said earlier, is given the D romantic?
Yeah, I
said
think
it.
so. I think
Said
so.
It depends on how you deliver.
Disney Tangled. This is almost when I thought about drafting. Finn Rider sacrifices himself. He cuts Rapunzel's hair at the end, even though he knows it's going to mean he's going to die,
Finn Rider's a punk bitch.
and Mother Gothel dies because of it. So it was a pretty sweet move by him.
Finn Rider's a punk bitch.
Finn Rider's a cool ass character,
Yeah,
man.
he is.
Why
Bro.
call him a punk bitch? That's
I'm not.
nice.
I'm not in with these guys that halfway through the movie realize they're good guys. Like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
Overboard. Goldie Hawn jumps into the water, reenacting the story of the lost lovers in the ocean.
Damn, that's a good call. Overboard.
When
Anytime you can bring Kurt Russell.
when Harry met Sally, he runs to the party to kiss her by midnight.
Oh, I love you, man. At the end, I love you, man.
Not romantic.
Proclamation of love.
Not
Yeah,
a romantic gesture. He's not. No argument that
He's
they're
not Samwise level.
openly interested in
Who's
being-
the-
I wrestled with this.
who's the girl in that relationship between Siegel and Paul Rudd?
It's
It's Rudd, right?
It's Rudd.
I think so too.
yeah.
Yeah. Back to the Future.
Nick's so disappointed that that's the answer.
Back to the Future.
He just shook his head like he splashed water on his face.
Papa McFly punches out Biff. Definitely Maybe, which you guys
that's a
should
good
appreciate more. He finds the book that she's been searching for, but then he holds it out on her for a while, and she's pissed.
Yeah, that
Well, I want to go back to Back to the Future. Romantic gesture?
He pulls Biff out of the car and he's like,
punches him.
"Oh, dude, that's
We've
so
talked a lot
good.
about
That's true, okay, 'cause
violence and
it
service
was
of
your
romance.
damn hands
His
off her,
expectation
Biff."
is going to be Marty McFly. It's going to be a fake punch, and then he actually still goes with it.
Yeah.
Okay. I like
Crispin Glover, bro, my dude.
P.S. I love you. He dies and leaves a whole bunch of love letters to remind her how great she
All
is.
right, now we're getting into weird Nate movies.
Oh, what? Yes, I love
No,
you.
that's good. That's good.
16 candles. Everybody forgets her birthday, but Sexy Mike makes the cake.
Yeah, that's true.
Colin Firth buys Bridget Jones a new diary.
Now Nate's just going
Didn't see
straight.
that
From,
one
he's going
coming.
straight from the list now. He's straight going for the romantical list.
No, this is all like solid.
Let's
picks.
get judged. I have to pee.
Yes.
Nate's got a
Where did we
I
put
got a lot
Cliff?
of romantic gestures.
Where's Cliff at?
So since Cliff is joining us via Zoom, we had to figure out a way to send him to the dark web.
We put him in Hollyweird.
Is he hanging out with the lawnmower man?
Well, what I
In
did
the cyber?
What I did is I just dumped him into a Christmas, like a lingering Black Friday sale, and I just said,
Keep refreshing your checkout until
see
it
if
actually
you find
goes
a good
through.
deal. Yeah, so he's trying to wait to check out.
So we're going to pull him out of limbo in just a minute here.
That's right.
The pop-up that says, I like cookies. Do you like cookies? Not would you like to accept cookies?
I got to pee so bad.
We'll be back after Zach pees.
California has the largest population in the United States and the site of some of the most famous true crime cases in history. But there's more than meets the eye to the crime in California. Join Sean, Jessica, and Charles on the California True Crime Podcast as they cover crime both infamous and overlooked from around our state, while looking at the deeper history that goes beyond beaches and movie stars.
Okay, we are back. We are ready to be judged, but more importantly, we're ready to welcome Cliff Chamberlain to the pod. Cliffy, how's it going, man?
Hey, fellas. Thanks for having me. It's going great.
So, Cliff...
Nate, I think you were one of like 3 people who calls me Cliffy.
Is that right?
But I think you're the first. I actually think you broke the barrier.
Well,
there's only a few people who call me that.
Clearly, there's a groundswell of demand for that. So, okay, so we grew up here in the Central Valley of California, all of us here on Bevs, and Cliff also shares that distinction. So, I met Cliff when I was a summer after my junior year. There was this camp called Camp Royale, hosted by the Rotary Club, and it was like they picked a few kids to go to this like leadership camp, and since I was a runner up to Brad here for Boys State
represent.
I got the Camp Royale, and fortunate for me because I ended up in a dorm in a bunkhouse with Cliff, and so I had never met him, but he was he came from a nearby high school, and so this camp was like a cool thing in the sense that like. It was a lot of kids who were pretty confident in who they were and pretty like had a lot of talents and things that they liked about what they were doing, and so it made for like a little bit of a comfortable space to kind of like show your stuff and not like be too closed in. So I remember like Cliff's thing was acting, right, and so I remember him being a little bit nervous, but there's like a little bit of it wasn't quite a talent show, but just like a little bit of a showcase, and so you can imagine this kind of like Greek theater style, cement kind of bowl with this thing,
but there was it's also like the best of the best kids, right? It's not like anybody could go to this thing, right?
Yeah, so you have to be selected. So it's like kids that are like achieving and doing cool things. Well, Cliff was a good student and he's a really good golfer, but he also was like a really great actor. And so, but I think, am I right, Cliff? At this time, you'd been in some productions in high school, but it wasn't like everybody knew you loved to act. It wasn't like you weren't like, this is who I am.
Well, yeah. I mean, I actually hadn't done any acting in high school.
Oh, okay.
Up to that point.
Okay.
Yeah. So what happened? My mom. I remember this. This is like sort of my whatever origin story.
I like that.
Goes, which is really interesting because I mean, Nate, that camp really was like the true start of my whole career because. First off, the thing that I think the big detail you're forgetting is that was the first year that they didn't do the camp co-ed.
I didn't even know that, but yeah, okay.
So I remember that as a real specific thing, that it was the first year they split up guys and girls. And I remember so many of the guys were just devastated and bummed that there would be no girls there.
If Nate knew that, he was going to be super bad.
I would have been pretty upset.
Well, so I remember it being, oh gosh, this is gonna. And what happened was all the guys there got to let their guard down and stop being idiots, and got to just kind of like relax into themselves, right, and into the sort of camaraderie of each other. And so I hadn't done any acting in high school, but I had done this monologue. So
we're in the Greek theater, right? That's this like sort of like everybody's sitting there, and so Cliff comes up to do this again, like sort of like just like talent showcase kind of thing, and he just all of a sudden goes into he's essentially playing an ad-lib version of the character from Brad Pitt's character from 12 Monkeys. And so he's like,
I had written it though. I had written it. It's written.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know. Because it was
I remember a lot of details. I remember a lot of the details of this because I'm no joke. It was really seared in my memory. It was a total ripoff of 12 Monkeys. Let me just put that out there. Complete ripoff. So I had done it at like a sort of a drama sort of like festival in high school, my junior year, but nobody knew who I was as far as the drama department went. I hadn't done anything because when I was in 8th grade, looking at making out classes for high school, I remember my mom was like, don't do drama. That's like, that's where some kids are that are kind of like, the outlier kids, and maybe you don't want to get involved with the drama kids in high school. And I listened to my mom and was like, okay, totally. At that point I had done a bunch of plays though in elementary school, like, Don't Do Drugs musicals and Save the Earth musicals. So I knew that I loved it. Anyway, so I found my way back to it. So I did that. I had written that monologue and I performed it at a festival, and then I broke it out at Chamberlain.
Yeah, so I think that what he says about the sort of guys letting their guard down is critical, right? Because this is like a bunch of junior guys, right, that are, the height of like, I can't think this thing is too cool because that makes me not that cool,
yes.
Right? Especially anything different, right? And so Cliff goes into this 12 Monkeys monologue, and he's moving around like up the steps and like in people's faces, and I mean, it was dead silent. Like, people were mesmerized and into it. And so he goes in this like 10 or 15 minute thing, and like people are just so locked in and so into it. And then it's just like he ends, and it's like this sort of pause and silence and just an eruption. Like, people go crazy.
Now were you swearing? Because Brad Pitt swears a lot in that as that character.
I don't know. That's a great question.
I think there probably were a couple little swears in there. I don't know.
Probably dropped a few swears in there. But there really is like, there's not a harder audience than a couple hundred high school guys.
Dude,
not when you're a high school guy yourself.
No. Yeah, for
and
sure.
Dude, that's fucking ballsy.
Yeah. So it was great. So Cliffy and I sort of parted ways after camp, and eventually found each other again in college, and we roomed together at UC Santa Barbara, where he was in the drama department and did a lot of plays and was great. And then he went off to Chicago and spent a whole bunch of years doing stage acting, and eventually got himself as an ensemble cast member in the super elite. What? Tell us about it, Cliff. Tell us how that happened.
With Steppenwolf?
Yeah. So how do you become an ensemble cast member?
There's the train. Gosh.
I love the train.
Welcome to the Valley.
I texted him. I was like, no, I mean, I just said, hey, that is a total feature of the recording. It is not a bug. It is a feature. I mean, I told Nate too. I was like, sometimes if I'm like bored out here in Indiana, I'm like, I'm going to hang out with the BVK guys for an hour and a half. Just listen to the train go by, because that's where I grew up too. I grew up in Manteca. Did you ever say that, Nate?
No, I haven't yet.
That Central Valley that's where I'm from.
Well, hey, Indiana, I'm sure.
Man.
Indiana's a lot colder right now because it was 70 degrees today. We were in t-shirts starting this pod earlier, so I'm sure out there it's a little bit chillier.
Yeah, so he became a Steppenwolf after years of stage acting in Chicago. Steppenwolf, for those of you that don't know, the ensemble cast is a super a super elite thing to be invited to do. Company of John Malkovich and Gary Sinise and Joan Allen, and like the list goes on. You know lots of these people from TV and from movie acting, and they're all elite stage actors. And so you sort of finally have you've done the stage thing, you've done TV, you've had a bunch of stints. You were Mike Dunn, for those of you that are Homeland fans. You were the station chief on the final season of that with Claire Danes. You had a run as
also voted in a Reddit thread as the most annoying Homeland.
You won,
but you were supposed to be.
I think I was in the like top 3. It was like me. It was
and like
Claire's
the terrorist from season 1, and her husband that turns on her.
My buddy Tracy Letts, who played Lockhart, Senator Lockhart in seasons 3 and 4. He's another Steppenwolf Ensemble member who, like, just a good friend of mine, and so it was like a real badge of honor to have me and him in like the top sort of.
That's awesome.
I love that
annoying character.
I love that Redditors would like never think that you guys would see this, but you're like, oh fuck yeah, I saw it.
I mean, of course, I see everything. They use the worst photo of me ever.
So you're Kurt Tannen for the full run of State of Affairs with Katherine Heigl, series regular.
Nate, I'm seeing pictures of you in these roles, and you look much younger in person than you do on the screen. Are you playing
fantastic.
older? Are you playing older actors in these parts?
I actually have been. No, I've been a 45-year-old character ever since I was like 22.
You're slowly making your age.
Mid-20s, I was playing the teacher along with all my friends who were playing the high school students.
That's awesome.
And now I think it's why I've been working still. Is that I'm actually finally the actual age.
You're actually 45?
Yeah. Like,
you're well versed in it now. Yeah.
But luckily I'm not playing like 60-year-olds.
And I just got to watch you on The Chair, a few episodes as a role on The Chair. You're on Dirty John for a few episodes. So a bunch of stuff on Netflix, Altered Carbon that you were a regular on for a few episodes. So I got to tell you, it's actually really a trip, right? Like I turn on Netflix and to watch Cliff do his thing, which is, given our history is really cool. So here I wanted to ask you a couple of things, but first let's talk Love Actually. So we did Love Actually last week, and when I first contacted you about this, and I was like, "Here's some movies we're doing. We're going to do different drafts." I was like, "What do you like?" And he's like, "Man, if I could do anything that's associated with Love Actually, that would be my jam. I love that movie." So what do you love about it?
Is it because you want to be British?
Golly, I mean, I went to London for the first time a couple of years ago when I was shooting Homeland. We were shooting Morocco.
Hell yeah!
And I'd never been to England, and so it was wild. The moment, my last name is Chamberlain. It's as British as it gets,
right?
And it was really wild stepping foot on that ground and being like, "Oh my God, I'm home. Like, this is where I'm from." It was intense because. Especially being in Morocco, which was really beautiful and fun and exciting, but was definitely like, oh, this is not where I'm from. And so to go to London was, to fly from Morocco to there was a kind of cool experience to go from like new adventure in a new place to, wow, I've never been here, but it feels like I have been before. It was a real trip. That was awesome. And yeah, the British accent, even though I'm not really, it takes me a little while. Is like that and Irish are the only two accents anyone has ever allowed me to do.
You can slip in and out real quick.
Not really. I mean, Irish I can do a little bit at a hair's notice, but but it gets tough. In fact, when I was trying to learn a northern British accent, which is a lot like, I think his name's Bronn in Game of Thrones, right?
Oh, okay.
And that one's, it's hard. And I was studying, one of my doctors was, see, now I'm like back and forth to Irish. I was reading Go Dog Go to my daughters.
Classic.
One of my daughters, when I think.
One of my favorites all time.
I think it was my older daughter. She was just a few years old, so I would read Go Dog Go, and it had a lot of the right sounds for this northern. So every time I open that book up, it's like do you like my hat? I don't like your hat. No, I don't like your hat. All right, bye. Every time I read it now, it's like right into the northern British. So
as an American actor, is it something that you see a lot of Brits or Australians playing like American accents, but you don't often see Americans playing like British or Australian accents? Is it easier? Is that kind of like a common thing that it's just easier for Brits and Aussies to do American accents?
Brad just slipped right into an Irish accent, I think, right there.
Did I?
I don't know. I think I've noticed that before, and I think there's something about. I think it just has to do with the film and TV industry being so prominent here that it's just like getting a sharper tool in your arsenal, right? So if you're from England, or if you're from Australia, if you're from anywhere, like more movies and more TV shows are being made in the States. So learning any type of American accent, Southern, New York, Boston, which is notoriously hard, California, like any of the accents here, like you're just going to increase your chances of working.
That makes sense.
I think that's probably what it has more to do with.
Opportunity.
So no, anyways, Love Actually, I've loved this movie. I saw it in the theaters. I remember seeing it in the theaters, and I've just been a huge sort of like romantic movie fan for a long time. And in fact, Nate, I think I have you really to thank for that as
You're
well.
welcome.
I will also say because I've seen the draft board, and there's just a glaring omission, which almost made me say, I don't know which one of these is Nate's, but Nate is going to lose automatically because I didn't see the most romantic gesture in the history of cinema on this board. And if Nate didn't pick it, then it's really a bummer.
We were all saying how there's definitely stuff that we've missed and we just don't know what it is yet.
Oh, listen, I was in the apartment A6, the apartment that I shared.
That was our college apartment, A6.
Chimney
sweep apartment.
I'm coming inside one day, and Nate's watching Notting Hill. I'm like, what is this? He's like, dude,
that's
Notting Hill's greatest movie ever. Like,
it's one of my top 5 of all time.
That's true.
I was like, I'll sit down, I'll watch this dumb movie with Nate. I don't have anything else to do. And like an hour and a half later, I'm like, best movie I've ever seen. So it really, I'll also say that I was sort of convinced for years and years, as memory does to you, that I found that movie. And it wasn't until thinking about this podcast that I was like, oh shit, Nate. That was Nate.
Yep.
Nate introduced that movie to me.
Oh man, I used to have I was shameless even as a 20-year-old college dude. I was like, we're gonna watch a rom-com.
He's trying to get us all involved in his romantic comedy stuff.
Well, Nate was the first guy that I ever knew to go like watch a movie by himself. Like he would go watch a rom-com by himself, and just that was like his jam. And I was like,
I mean, I don't prefer it that way, but I'm not above that.
Well, I think it's one of the things I've always appreciated about you, Nate, is that you are just like, I don't care. I'm doing what I want to do, and I'm liking what I want to like.
It works out sometimes, sometimes not so well.
A British rom-com, then goddamn it, I'm going to like this British rom-com, and I'm not even going to worry about my college roommates. It's like,
well, to be clear, I also had a standing date with Ally McBeal. I never missed an episode when I was in college, so
friends, Ally McBeal,
that was on brand. So Love Actually. So what's your favorite?
So Love Actually, So what I like about the movie is that now there's so many different storylines that you can follow as you grow older, right? So I've grown. As I've grown, I have ditched storylines that don't apply to me anymore or don't appeal to me anymore, and I kind of lock in on different storylines. I'm sort of, we watch it every Christmas, my wife and I. It's always on it's one of the sort of present wrapping movies we watch. And in fact, I think one of your earlier podcasts, one of you had the brilliant idea of having just the home screen, right?
That's the way.
Actually, home screen.
That's the way Nick falls asleep every night. Yeah.
Yeah, the DVD
DVD menu.
Screen of, yeah, so that the Love Actually is top 3. It's amazing. The music is incredible. It's that heart that's kind of like just floating there, and that makes me think of Wrapping Presents because it's always just sitting there on. So of course when I was younger, the sort of Andrew Lincoln, Keira Knightley, that storyline was always like I locked in with just as someone who was desperate to find someone to love, and that was sort of closer to the age. But as I've gotten older, I mean, really, Emma Thompson is to me the like unassailable MVP of this movie and that storyline.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, and I think what she does as an actress is so hard. And so this one, I watched it last night and today just to sort of prep for this, and I always knew that what she did in that movie was impressive. But now, as someone who's been married a long time and who knows how hard it is and how difficult and how incredible, but how much work you have to put into a marriage and stuff, to watch her deal with the sort of like her marriage and that sort of falling apart and the strength that she has in dealing with it is fucking amazing. She has this moment where, she finds out about the necklace and she gets the Joni Mitchell CD, right? And she takes a moment to go into her bedroom and she's crying, right? And it's, first off, it's just, crying is hard to do as an actor, and to do it realistically and to make it seem like you're trying to stop, which is, like, because I know for myself, if I've been in scenes where I've had to cry, and like when it's happening, there can often be this inner voice of being like, holy shit, I'm doing it. Like, this is happening. Like,
I'm crying.
Oh my God, like this is, and that's why I am me and Emma Thompson is Emma Thompson. She's trying to stop, right?
Yeah.
She's like, you can see her trying to stop, and it's really impressive. I mean,
when she walks,
she does this thing where, oh, sorry, keep going.
Oh no, go ahead. I was gonna say, when she walks into the room and the family is there and she tells the kids, oh, hey, we gotta go. You guys are all ready. I'm like that. Oh my God, it's just heartbreaking.
Oh yeah. But when she fixes the bedspread, before she leaves that room, to me, it's like those details as an actor, I just pick up on I love those moments because it makes me think like, did she do that in every take? Did the director tell her to do that? Why did she, like, she know, like it's a duality. It's juggling a lot of things at once, which is, my marriage is over. I'm embarrassed. I'm mortified. I'm really heartbroken, but I don't want my bed to look like I'm still the matriarch. I still run this house. And by God, like, I'm not going to let this fall apart. It's very British, right? I'm going to sort of keep calm and carry on.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. And whoever decided to do it, I sort of, like, in my imagination, give it to her, that she did it just instinctually. It's fucking incredible. So yeah, I mean, I've had moments where over time, like, the music really, there's chords in that score and in the, I actually just can't not cry. It's weird. It's like, oh shit, boom. It's like, bum, 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 boom. Right when Colin Firth, right when those two characters meet, like in the diner when he goes to, Portugal to get the girl and stuff. So I don't know, some of those moments, there are some real moments of actors at the top of their game, because the other thing that I've watched, that I've noticed as I've watched it, is that certain things, like if you pull a few threads in a few of the storylines, some things really can fall apart. And but some of the actors, like the extras scene, Mark Freeman and,
what are they shooting? You're an actor. What are they shooting in that scene?
High-end porn?
Porno doesn't have stand-ins.
That's not happening. I mean, that's like, first off, no one's getting nude as extras or stand-ins, right? And it's just like, so none of that is realistic. But what and this is something that I was interested too in, like, as a viewer, what will pull me out of the story and what won't. And some, like that, I'm like, oh, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. For some reason, nipples keeps us locked in.
Locks you in. But to me, it's talking about traffic, right? It's the small things that they're doing. Those two actors are doing to sort of like just keep it grounded. That makes the unbelievability. What's more unbelievable in that scene is that the PA, who seems to be in two different worlds at the same time, like he's with Colin at the wedding reception for some reason, Tony, and then he's suddenly so the editing and I can't really figure out time in this movie, and that sort of bugs me as I rewatch it a bunch of times. He can't be in both places because they're not shooting that scene over multiple days. I mean, now as an actor, I know scheduling. They're getting that thing done in one day. It's one location. But there are multiple days happening on other scenes with Colin. It all falls apart. That to me is like, what is happening? So I'll much more buy a whole crowd of people following Colin Firth down the street in Portugal to the restaurant than that character being in two different places at once. So there are certain things about it that when I watch it too, I love Hugh Grant, right? I mean, and I think what he does too. I mean, there's some power dynamics in the movie with, men in positions of power and their assistants that I think is like, oh, I didn't see that when I was 21, but now I'm like, I'm not sure any of that's cool. I mean, he sort of relocates Natalie to another part of the prime minister's residence when she didn't do anything wrong. It's like, oh man, that sucks. So
we likened it.
She's such a.
We likened it to Monica Lewinsky earlier. It's very, and the Brits are like, it's okay. Our president can fucking intern. It's all right.
Yeah, I mean, luckily she's such a badass that, and what I think part of what Hugh Grant does naturally is sort of, he's good at sort of playing foppish, right? That's what his sort of thing. So you sort of naturally put them on an equal level, but if you're also remembering in the back of your mind, he's a prime minister and she works in his
catering manager.
It's not cool. Yeah. So some of that stuff I really find myself being drawn to the relationships in the movie now on equal footing, where the men and the women are on equal footing, which is why, again, Emma Thompson, that one I love. Laura Linney's character in that story, even though that's another thing I wanted to say too. As an actor, I've always noticed Laura Linney's brother. That actor is coming in on one day. I just know it. That scene his stuff is being shot in one day, and that's one of the hardest things to do as an actor is to come in on a set and you have one day to nail your stuff, and your scene partner is Laura Linney, and you really have got to bring it. And every time I watch it, whoever that guy is, I don't know his name. I didn't look his name up, but he's pretty incredible. And he does something too, where he goes and he tries to hit her, right? And she stops him. And then, he kind of keeps going. And then a little bit, she puts her hands like on his legs, and then she takes her hands back and he reaches back for her hands. Like, here, don't let go of me. Now, as a character, that's perfect, right? But as an actor, the double hard part about that is that you have to grab Laura Linney's hands. Right? Like,
and you just met her.
You just met her. And you have to make an action towards this major movie star and hope to God that she's like, hey, look, don't touch me.
I was going to ask about that.
I've also heard that.
I'm sorry, I was going to ask about that power dynamic of when you are with somebody who's maybe considered an A-lister. I mean, do they immediately tell maybe lower level actors like, okay, here's what you can and can't do? I mean, is that ever expressed?
I haven't had that. No, not really. And it's interesting because I've also heard that Laura Linney is like fucking amazing to actors who are coming into sort of her set, coming onto her set, like that is the type of actor that she is. And I think like for myself, because that's generally what I am is especially on TV sets. I haven't done a lot of movies. The only movie, I think I was talking to Nate about this. Like the one movie I've done that I think anyone might have seen is called Win It All, which is like I think one of you guys was talking about drinking buddies and was talking.
I think it was Walter from last.
Yeah,
call.
our buddy from last call. He talked about it. He didn't like it though.
My buddy. Yeah. I mean, I was like, hey, that's my buddy Joe who did Drinking Buddies in this movie, Win It All. But again, with that, like I'm on that set for one day, and my scene's really with Jake Johnson, right? Who's a producer on the movie, he's a big star, and I'm just hoping that he's a cool guy, which he was. I think what I have found is that anybody who's a big star or the number one on the call sheet, or an actor they have a lot to do. They have a lot of work. They have a lot of lines to memorize. They have a lot of responsibility. They have a lot of weight on their shoulders. So what my job is to be a supporting actor, to support, right? To support their work, to support the story. And that means coming in, knowing my lines, having an idea, and being ready to be really good, really fast. It's sort of easier said than done. It's taken me time to sort of figure out how to do it. One of my favorite things to do is to watch that moment where someone who is the number one on the call sheet go like, oh, okay, cool. All right, we're acting today. This is great. Here we go. Like,
that's got to be fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's happened. It's happened enough times for me that it's just one of my favorite things, because anybody. I haven't really had any moments with anybody who hasn't been cool. I mean, and again, those people have a lot of responsibility, and it's fucking hard, and the hours are really long. And it's a strange, it's like at the end of the day, we're just actors and we're just playing make believe. But there is an interesting sort of mental focus that can get draining over long hours, and it's a strange job too. So yeah, so I've had a couple, and I've had some actors of that caliber who've done me some real solids over time, and have been really cool to me. I mean, Claire Danes was about as nice and warm as you could get on Homeland, and just in terms of being welcoming and being receptive to things that I would do. And Joel Kinnaman once on Altered Carbon saw that it was like my first day on set, and I had to have this big, huge crying scene. And what happens at the very end of right before you shoot, a lot of times there's the hair and makeup department, and they're completely doing their job. It's what they're supposed to do. It's called last looks. Well, they'll come in, they'll sort of touch you up with makeup and hair, and they're sort of right in your face. But there's like this bell going in the background. They're like, all right, everybody set, everyone, camera one, all getting cameras ready. The first AD is calling everyone to get set, and it's right up into the last second. People are in your face working, and then it's like, all right, go, action. And Joel, in a really cool way, was like, I think, give him a few extra seconds, y'all, to the hair and makeup people in a really nice way, and really like taking ownership, sort of it is my show. I can see this actor needs a few extra seconds, and he helped me a lot. He just gave me like 10 extra seconds, and 10 extra seconds on a set is an eternity.
Wow.
And I've had a lot of people be really gracious to me like that over time. So
very cool.
That's so crazy.
It's been cool.
So, guys, are we ready to be judged?
Oh God.
Oh my
I'm so ready.
By the level of talent.
The level of talent. This is the
screen here is intimidating.
This might count for 2 W's. Hey Cliff, so it is
man.
Right now we have Nate and Nick both have 5 wins. Zach and myself, we are at 4 wins. So this is a very, very instrumental award here tonight.
So give us a little bit about so all our judges do it a little bit different. So
yeah,
tell us a little bit about how you approached the list, the judging process.
Yeah, well, I've heard Scotch Beck do some amazing work with numbers. And sort of, like, which I'm very impressed by, and also like I got into acting so that I don't have to podcast. That's not going to be my method. I'm totally based on instinct and feel, and I sort of just go off of my own. And also too, like I will also say, like I'm an actor, and actors are sort of inherently narcissistic. So if any of these were picks that I picked, I naturally lean towards like, oh yeah, that's what I thought. So, okay, and with that in mind, if there are things that I thought should be on the list that were not, I'm like, okay, I have a bone to pick. Come on.
All right, so Brad, why don't you read the list back? Read the teams back. Are we doing that? No.
When he chooses teams.
Okay.
We'll
all right. Okay.
We'll read them.
Okay. All right, Cliffy. So give us your.
So my basic thing was, I mean, I'm not ashamed to say that over the years I've definitely thought about the Academy Awards, the Tonys, the Emmys. And when those awards are given out, there's one winner and there's a whole bunch of people sitting in the audience smiling. So there's not going to be any places. There's going to be a winner, and there's going to be three guys,
three losers
who need to just suck it up.
Three fucking losers.
You're going to have to get the applause button
well, then maybe I should go through the teams.
Okay, well, let's go
through the teams real quick. So team one, we had Lloyd Dobler, Say Anything, John Cusack, Boombox, very famous. Steve Carell, 50-year-old virgin, sells all of his toys for his girl. The Notebook, reading the story of her love life when she has dementia. And finally, Brad Cooper gives her the letter, Silver Linings Playbook. Team 2, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Peter takes down the photo. Romeo and Juliet, Leo scales the walls in enemy territory to profess his love. Up, Carl bringing Ellie's house to Paradise Falls. And Amelie, scavenger hunt with photo booth costumes, etc. Team 3, Dirty Dancing, interrupting the dance. Nobody puts baby in the corner. You Complete Me, Jerry Maguire. Leo gives the floating door to Rose, Titanic. And Wesley rolls down the hill saying, As You Wish, Princess Bride. And Team 4, Richard Gere, Pretty Woman, climbs up the fire escape. Noah builds her dream house, The Notebook. Cardboard Signs, Love Actually. And The Wedding Singer, Robbie serenades Julia on the plane.
Okay, so...
Are we going to talk about the 50-year-old virgin?
I was going to.
Did you say 50-year-old virgin?
Yeah.
Did I say 50?
It's all good.
Oh, 40-year-old. I wrote it as 40. Did I say 50?
Sorry. Brad would have texted us after this pod and said, I said 50-year-old virgin. Why didn't you fucker say anything?
Doesn't make it weirder.
I'm just a guest.
All right, Cliffy. So you've got so you've got a winner. Do you want anything?
Yeah. So let me just talk about though. Well, yeah. Let me just talk about like so. A lot of times too, when I get a script and stuff, I mean, there are times when you assume you know a word, you assume you know what's in your dialogue, and then there's other times when you actually look up the definition to know what exactly is this. So I wanted to think about what is a gesture, right? What is it? What is a gesture? What's the definition of a gesture? And a gesture is an action performed to convey one's feelings or intentions.
Okay.
Now, an action is really important because an action to me is also what I sort of like linked onto as an actor with if you're going to be truly romantic, you need to be doing something and you need to be acting on something, right? And so it didn't do, most of the list was pretty spot on in terms of that, but there were a few times where I was like, oh, this actually isn't as much of an action as I want it to be. And there are a couple actions also were I sort of like negated because I also didn't like what was coming behind it, which is also an intention. Why are you doing something?
I'm glad you thought of this stuff. I like that.
It's Cliff's factor. Oh no.
So what are a couple before you reveal? What are the couple of the ones that you thought were less actiony than they should have been?
Well, I'll tell you. And so Wesley rolling down the hill, saying "As You Wish," is a reaction.
Right.
He gets pushed. The actual action. The actual romantic gesture in that is Princess Buttercup throwing herself down the hill for Wesley.
Ooh.
That's the romantic gesture.
I would argue
Right?
the romantic gesture is all the shit that led up to him being there in that moment, and not the actual him throwing himself off the hill.
Yeah, sure, but I don't think your category is romantic gestures.
Agreed. I think the guy that picked that is a dumbass. For sure. Agree with you.
There was some debate about what the correct scene was. So
I understand Princess Bride. I mean, look, him scaling the
aggro crag?
Doom.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
That's an action. That's a simple act. He climbs that cliff to get to Princess Buttercup. Even just picking the pitcher up off of the ceiling and handing it to her, surviving the torture chamber. That's those are but whoever picked that one picked the wrong one. And
Thank you.
Just said
Thank you,
Princess
Cliff.
Buttercup. Had they just said Princess Buttercup rolling down the
I'm
hill.
really glad you thought of this stuff.
God, man.
Okay, so what was
Me and
one
Cliff
that
are on the same
what was the
page.
one
So
that
another one.
Another
One in terms of so I also wanted to think about romance and what does it mean to be romantic, and some of the one of the things that I don't find romantic at all is stealing your best friend's wife.
Cliff, we are on the same page, brother. I love
the
it.
Love Actually cardboard sign pick, which seems romantic, is actually one of the worst things. I think
One of the
can
worst
do.
picks you could ever make in this draft. Exactly.
It's more romantic to do nothing, to eat that love and go find your own girl.
There it is.
Okay?
Plenty of British
So
chicks with bad
that's-
teeth.
Speaking
bro.
that truth.
Because it's also, first, the video is borderline stalkerish. It's also super short. I don't know what it's like.
He
10
edited it
seconds
down to
long.
like 40 seconds.
I mean, it's like what the and he says it needs a bit of tweaking and it's like, no, it doesn't.
He usually
It
comes
needs-
before the end of that 40-second video.
Oh my
It's the
god!
director's cut.
I will say, yeah, Andrew Lincoln's he does a triple turn when he leaves the.
Yeah, we talked.
He leaves he
With
says-
the
and he
massive-
does this
Turtleneck zip.
and then the big linked up to the music soundtrack. Is
Transformer.
That's tough. The triple turn. So that one, I was like, okay, so that one's going to just be negated. And then what else was I going to say? Oh, and then one of the other things that I think that I find incredibly romantic is when there's sacrifice involved, right? Is when you, a couple things. One, when you sacrifice something and when you actually have to give something up, which a lot of these choices have, and one of them is a clear-cut winner in that category. And then, but I also think that if you're going to truly be romantic, you can't say you were trying to be romantic seconds later. So Bradley Cooper giving the letter when he says I was trying to be romantic, I automatically throw that out because, well, you just totally destroyed any type of romance. You can't try to be romantic and be romantic at the same time.
That's a
in
Cooper
my
move.
personal opinion.
Cooper's like, I want to throw this in there. What do you think?
So I will say, so I'll get right to my winner
Yes,
first because that's
okay.
how they do it at the awards. And I will say that Team 3, despite Wesley rolling down the hill, is my winner.
Oh,
That was the biggest red herring ever. I thought Nick was for sure going to lose.
Oh, it was like, dude, somebody's getting 5 wins tonight.
Oh, my
Cliff.
God.
Shit.
I want to call you Cliffy, but
So-
we're not there yet. We're not there yet. We are not
No,
there
you
yet.
can't.
But God damn it, I'm
Yeah,
happy.
it's Nate and my buddy Tracy.
oh man.
A lot of the stuff.
Oh,
Thank
me
you,
and
Cliff.
Tracy
So let me tell
Letts
you
are the
why.
guys that call you Cliffy. Oh man.
Thank you, Cliff.
Yeah, but
that's better than anyone.
The look on
reason
Zach's
number
face
3
just
won-
makes me so damn happy.
I can't believe
He's going to drop the reasons because
Zach's mouth.
we're going to have to talk some Titanic here.
I
We
can't
can talk some Titanic.
I can't believe that.
Okay.
So I think this one wins really because in my thinking about what I find romantic in terms of sacrifice too, like Leo giving the floating door to Rose and literally dying for that love that to me is one of my number one picks. It's not my most romantic gesture.
We're going to talk about how this bitch could have scooted over. She could have scooted over on the door a little bit. Maybe Leo climbs onto the door.
Cliff, was there some other things floating around? Couldn't they have found some other thing for him to jump
Erroneous.
onto?
Erroneous.
But again, if you want to, that to me is not what the category is. The category is a gesture. He made that gesture to her to give her the door. So that's all I'm going off of, right? And as an actor, like, you need to make an action in this scene that's a romantic gesture.
Would it have ruined it if Leo said, "Remember that time when I gave you the door, Rose? remember that time? Let's just get over."
I planned earlier to give you the door when the plane went down.
Look, that's not to say that if I'm Leonardo DiCaprio and James Cameron is telling me here's the scene, I don't go, "Hey, Jimmy, I don't know if this makes sense.
Yeah.
Can Kate just slide over and then we both live?" It actually doesn't make sense. Can I grab this, this giant chest over here? Yeah, sure. That's when that breaks down. But as a character doing something, that one to me takes the cake. Also, what I think Dirty Dancing has and Jerry Maguire has is a tiny bit of sacrifice in terms of, or the overcoming something, which is coming into a public setting to profess some sort of love, right? Which is not easy to do as a character. And both those characters, I mean, Patrick Swayze and Steph has already been kind of kicked out, and he has to come into that room and make that gesture in front of a lot of people, and he's sort of risking, even if it's just shame or embarrassment in that room. That to me, I find is pretty incredible. And then obviously Jerry Maguire and stuff, that room is a room of strong women. Her sister's in that room. Like, you got to come in and you got to just bare your soul in that room. It's a tough room. And so those two things, I think, for those three, that was the winner. And even just getting near Princess Bride, I was happy with that, because that's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Well, it's
now,
the amazing taste.
The other movies, let me just say, all the other ones were, obviously, as any sort of award winner would say, hey, just happy. Good job, peers. Great job, everybody.
I'm not. I wanted to win.
Cliff, can we say at least say, I know you said you're going to give 3 losers, but can we at least say number 2 was the second place?
Yeah. Number 2 is Team 1, right? Thank you, Cliffy.
Team 2 was second place, correct?
No.
Damn it. Can we at least say that if a certain person had not gone with the Love Actually scene and instead put in Notting Hill, he probably would have won?
Nope. I don't think so either.
Well,
I think you still lose.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have put in the Notting Hill, Julia Roberts showing up and giving him that painting, I mean, my God, it's not even close.
What about the weird cousin in Wedding Crashers drawing that picture for Vince Vaughn? Would that have got any points?
That's the brother, dude.
It's pretty romantic.
That's pretty romantic.
What about sure. Samwise carrying Frodo up Mount Doom? Would that have won?
That's a good one too. I mean, I also thought about Superbad. I think it's
Seth and Evan booping each other's noses.
Michael Cera?
Yeah.
No, one of them's carrying the other one, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
Isn't Michael Cera carrying Jonah Hill down the street?
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, I had Punch Drunk Love on there too, when Adam Sandler shows up to the mattress store with the phone still in his hand.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that's kind of an incredible scene. I mean, I think I'm surprised no one had I Gotta Go See About a Girl. I mean, he drives across country to go get Skylar.
Wow.
He drops. That's the other reason I was like, Nate, what's happening?
So
I
don't
he turns down the job to drive across the country to go get Skylar.
So I guess I think for me, that scene is more about him acknowledging that Robin Williams has helped him than it is that gesture. You know, I mean, I see it going forward, but we don't get to see that or feel the impact of that. Whereas, for me, the scene and I Gotta Go See About a Girl is really about his relationship with Robin Williams.
I'd say Robin Williams should get the vote there, because for when he gives up the Red Sox tickets,
fair point.
Yeah,
that's the romantic gesture.
Yeah, well, there you go.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
right.
So Cliff,
that's a good
Cliff, look at team one there. So if I had gone instead of Silver Linings Playbook with my last pick, if I had gone Daniel-san fighting to the death in a Japanese death match in Karate Kid 2, would that have won it for me? Yeah. I'm just
I
curious.
would have definitely gotten.
Oh, I
Especially
should have
because
gone with my instincts. God damn it.
Especially because he just does the
honk at the end. That's so romantic. Oh, God damn it.
I will say, look, let me just talk because I want to talk about. I wanted to say nice things about everybody too.
Oh yeah.
So Lloyd Dobler, obviously that's like a pretty.
Is that the correct number?
Scene.
That's just the one I think of when they said the category.
Yeah, I think it probably is the one of one, but it's such an obvious one of one that it's tough. But I also look, it's obvious because it's a good one. But I think what's more impressive to me about that as an actor is John Cusack's commitment to holding that boombox. You got to do that a long time. That's not just in the
many
movie,
takes.
It's 30 seconds.
Yeah.
But that actor is John Cusack is holding that thing up for hours.
That's so crazy.
Multiple takes, multiple shots. Again, Steve Carell selling all of his toys. That's a sacrifice it's like someone doing something. And The Notebook, that's a long time of reading to her. So
right.
That's also one that I find is pretty damn impressive.
She doesn't even know, and he's still being romantic, and she doesn't even know what's happening. That's the best fucking part.
That's a damn good one too. Forgetting Sarah Marshall, I have not seen. I haven't seen in a long time, and I couldn't find that scene even online. So
it's because it has Mila Kunis's fake boobs in it, so you can't see it on the internet.
That's true.
Okay, there you go. Romeo and Juliet. I mean, obviously scaling. Romeo going into Capulet territory and scaling that wall is that's totally risking a lot. Risk is the other thing. Up and Carl building the house, I think, is another one that I thought of as well. It's pretty impressive. And Amelie, I haven't seen in a long time, but I also wanted to give a shout out bonus point to the only choice that is from a woman's perspective. I mean, I know we're all guys, but that is the only one that centered a woman. So well done. Number 2.
Not even second place. Not even second place, boys.
24% of our audience agrees with that.
And then Richard Gere, overcoming, sacrifice. Like that one I thought was pretty great. Noah building the house, I thought was cool too, just because he's building that without knowing that she's ever, he just does it without sort of any expectation, which I think is pretty romantic. And then the wedding singer, that song that's a great scene too. I mean, it's a public space and is a really sweet scene. But because the Love Actually one leaves such a bad taste in my mouth, I'm
going to shut up about that. I think I've made my last case for that take. I've clearly been shouted down here on this.
Multiple facets.
I wanted to say too, I think I think Ghost was maybe a missed opportunity. To me, there's obviously the scene at the wheel where they're making the pottery or whatever, but I also find the most romantic gesture part is when he goes into Whoopi Goldberg's body, and that dance is a real romantic gesture because there's multiple things happening at once. I think Dumb and Dumber has I know it's platonic kind of romance, but when he sells the
the shaggin' wagon, the dog wagon.
Yeah, he sells it for the scooter in a way to sort of save their sort of relationship. I just think is a pretty great gesture. And then if you've seen the movie Moonlight, which is written, the play was written by a friend of mine, and the movie is based on it. Terrell Alvin McCraney, who's also a Steppenwolf Ensemble member. I mean, that movie is just sort of laced with a lot of they're really small gestures of sort of that I just find to be pretty fantastic. And this sort of phone call that's sort of alluded to at the end of the movie is sort of I don't know, that movie is really powerful. I remember seeing the movie and then seeing it in the theaters and being really struck by it. And I love Terrell. So, and then my last one too is Whale Rider. Have you ever seen Whale Rider?
Oh my God, no!
Like an amazing movie. It's not really a love story. It's it's a movie out of New Zealand. I saw it in 2003 when I first moved to Chicago, and this young girl character sort of has this moment with this whale at the end where, again, it's not really romantic in this sort of any sort of sexual sense, but in terms of love. And just express an expression of love. So she sort of helps this beached whale get back in the water. It's just kind of an amazing moment. And she's sort of anyways,
So Cliff, earlier you said there was a pick that Nate didn't make that you were hoping it. Which of those was that?
That was the Notting Hill.
Notting Hill. Okay.
Can't believe. I mean, not only that, but then Hugh Grant like racing across London to get to her and asking her a question.
I sometimes don't trust my instincts, and it doesn't work out, and then sometimes I do, and it doesn't work out. So all right. Well, there you have it. Nick pulling ahead.
Number 6.
Cliffy, what do you got coming up next? I know you got the Minutes. Tell us about that.
So the Minutes is a play that we did at Steppenwolf a couple years ago when we were about to premiere it on Broadway. We were 3 days away from opening, and the pandemic hit. And so we're coming back we opened in April, I believe, of next year on Broadway. It's a play that Tracy Letts wrote. It's directed by Ann Shapiro. It's got a bunch of great actors and actresses in it. So yeah, that's happening in April in New York. And then I just did a couple episodes of Walker, the Texas Ranger reboot.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Just aired on the CW.
All right.
And then I did this show called Paper Girls, which is going to be on Amazon Prime. I don't know when it's going to come out, but we shot it here in Chicago, and it's based on a graphic novel. So that's coming out. And then there's a bunch of my stuff that's around. I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, what have you been in?" And I'm like, a lot of stuff. It's around. Nate mentioned The Chair and Homeland. It's hard. I have a hard time sort of like self-promoting at times, but
I mean, from where I'm sitting, man, it looks like you're living the dream, brother. I mean, really, it seems to me you're living the dream. It seems pretty fucking awesome.
I love what I do. I've had some incredible experiences and people that have taught me a lot, and just to sort of be able to fill out my taxes with actors was all I sort of ever wanted to do. And I've seen some pretty great places in the world, met some cool people, and I just get to be an actor.
It's awesome.
It's pretty fucking cool.
Awesome.
Really
Cliffy, thank you so much for coming on, dude. It's
Thanks
always
for having
good.
me, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Cliff.
And we will, if
Thanks.
you're willing, we will surely bug you again to come hang with us for real. And you don't even have to pretend. You can just come hang with us sometimes.
No, boy, anytime. Hold on. I also want to say too, because I know you guys. I'm drinking 3 Floyd's Barbarian Haze IPA.
Oh, I like that can.
That's a badass can.
Yeah, Three Floyd's is I'll try to get you guys a case.
Sweet.
Send it out there. Three Floyd's is a local brewery here in Munster. They have just a lot of great beers, and so
we love our local brewery.
We're supporting the local beers.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I just want to say too, like I love what you guys are doing, and thanks very much for having me.
Thank you, brother.
Awesome, brother.
Awesome,
Thanks,
Cliff. Hey, thanks, man. All right, we will see you on the next round. All right. Well, Nick taking the clear lead there. Thanks again to Cliffy for giving us some insights. Hope you guys enjoyed the interview and the draft.
Now we don't plan on getting any more dubs, right? So that's the
year-end standings. Is Nick in the lead by 1?
And what's the final score?
That means I win the year?
I think
no.
Oh,
this is a cumulative until we stop doing the pod.
The W's are going until we end this pod.
Yeah, one of us has to die or get kicked out, and then we start it over.
Okay.
All right.
Oh man, I can't wait to murder you all.
Nice. That's a nice shot at it.
Trying to think of reasons why one of us would get kicked out.
All right. So next week is Christmas week. We will be dropping our Home Alone pod next.
21st.
And then on the 23rd, our final pod of 2021 will be a draft of the most memorable or the best kid Christmas movies, and we will have none other than a mix of our kids on judging our taste.
You guys think the movie's called Home Alone, but at my house it's called Home Balone. I don't know where it started, but that's what all of my kids call it, Home Balone.
That's
all right.
No, all right. Well, that's it. So, folks, thanks again for tuning in. Tell your friends about us. Tell your social media about us, and follow us. Find us.
Hey, and look up Cliff's IMDb and just start watching all his stuff.
Yeah, Cliff Chamberlain. He's awesome. Super talented. All the stuff he's in is great. You should check it out. All right, guys. We're out.
Bye-bye.
Don't touch that dial just yet, folks. This is Brad from the BVK Pod. Right now, we're going to play a song, I'll Be All Right, from Scotch Beck. This is a live version that he recorded from his album, The Ballad of Bosco Jenkins. Go to scotchbeck.com. Go check out all the shirts, the CDs, the things that you can give to your friends and family for Christmas. Great stocking stuffers. It's a great song. Once you hear it, go check them out.
Drunken tears flowing from my eyes as I sing another hopeless lullaby for you, one you'll never hear. Said goodbye unexpectedly, but I really knew something wasn't right. At least that is what I tell myself. I'll be alright. I'll be alright. Just need an hour or two to write my mind of you and at least get something good from this broken heart. And I try to channel everything inside that I feel into this melody of mine for you, so I can finally heal. I'll be alright. I'll be alright. Just need an hour or two to write my mind of you and at least get something good from this broken heart. I'll be alright. I'll be alright. Just need an hour or two to write my mind of you and at least get something